These are my way too early predictions for both VCT Americas and China. We'll talk about who will win week 1, which teams will make it out of the group stages, as well as some hot and out of the box takes about players and agents. First, we have week 1 in the Americas. I have Leviathan over Cloud9. Yes, C9 made some changes, but Leviathan should have gotten better now that they have gotten more time to bring Calm into the fold and hopefully improved on their weaknesses. They still have Aspas, and anything's possible when you have him on the team while being well organized. Next, I have Sentinels over 100 Thieves. Could 100 Thieves win this? Maybe if Sentinels aren't playing as hard since they just won Masters Madrid and possibly take it easy, but I doubt that would happen. John QT is coming in late, but I still believe Sen will win this even if he hasn't been scrimming in person with the team. I believe all the other games will be very close though, possibly closer than what most people think. For example, Crew and Furia might be a toss-up since Furia just brought in Nosware for Laizi. I mentioned in my tech pause video how NRG were able to just pick apart Furia's attack game plan pretty easily. I don't know if this change will fix that for Furia, so I'm gonna go with Crew, who still has a lot of firepower. Next is G2 versus Evil Geniuses. This is going to be another rematch from the group stages. There are some rumors that G2 will make some changes as well. They have yet to officially announce anything, but IC is supposed to be on the team. The streets are also saying that players on G2 will be changing roles as well. Again, these are just rumors and we won't know until we see it. In the past, I remember a lot of people saying G2 would beat Evil Geniuses in kickoff, but I still picked EG to win then, and I still am here. I believe this team will have a lot more time together to iron out some mistakes and do well. Here we have NRG and Loud, which is going to be kind of interesting too. This might be the match to watch during week 1 in the Americas in my opinion. And I think people need to remember how close NRG were to winning. NRG were 2 rounds away from possibly sweeping Sentinels during the end of kickoffs, which is impressive since Demon 1 also struggled in that match. Maybe it was the fact that he was playing Jet on Sunset, or it could have just been an off game for him. Who knows? While at Masters Madrid, Loud also lost to Sentinels in overtime on Sunset. Both teams also got destroyed by the boys in red on Split too. These 2 orgs look pretty good on Ascent and Breeze as well. I think Sadak is a better IGL than Ethan right now, and I have a feeling that NRG's bind isn't that good. I do have to mention that Loud have gone through some visa issues, so they haven't been scrimming as much as the other teams. However, there wasn't too much scrim bucks going on for Loud before kickoff started anyways, and they survived the group of death. Plus, QCK looked like he was starting to gel well with the team and putting up good numbers as Jet towards the end of Masters Madrid. I'm gonna go with Loud on this one. Next, we have China. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I don't follow this league a lot because of time zone issues, so I haven't watched gameplay on every single team here. I'm just gonna base my picks on past results and some roster moves that have been going on. And I have to say, China as a whole has been busy with them. First, we'll talk about Billy versus Tai Lu. Tai Lu lost to Nova Esports and got destroyed by Trace, while Billy were able to make it to play-ins. However, now Tai Lu looks like a completely new team. They brought in Aaron as well as Flexen from Trace, which is surprising in my opinion. And to end things for them, they brought in a new coach. Lau King is no longer on this team, but I still see Billy coming on top. Here we have Wolves versus Titan Esports Club. It might be close, but I'm gonna go with Wolves. As TMV says, spring has sprung. Dragon Ranger Gaming shouldn't lose to All Gamers either. Here we have Edward Gaming versus JD Gaming, which might be interesting too. JD Gaming brought in Yinshin. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. He used to be on Attacking Soul Esports, and he did okay against DRX way back during Masters Tokyo. Maybe this will help the team that was once seen as China's number 2. Losing their IGL and Yeoman might have hurt them more than what most people would have thought. I still have EDG winning though. Next is Nova versus Trace. Like I said beforehand, Flexen is no longer on Trace Esports, which is kind of surprising. He had some ups and downs during the kickoff tournament. Kind of reminds me of Monet's progress, where he struggled a bit in the beginning of kickoffs, and then started to pick things up during the play-ins, before the team lost to EDG. Nova also made some changes too. They added a new coach, as well as an Iranian/Australian player. He played a lot of Jet and Raze in the past. I'm gonna still go with Trace winning this one out though. They also made some changes which I'll get into later. Next we have Wolves versus FPX. This could be a very close match. Wolves will be playing 2 days in a row, while this will be FPX's first game of Split 1. Everything is telling me that FPX should win this match, but I'm gonna go with a little bit of an upset here and pick Wolves. I mean, why not? Upsets are fun. Since I have the Wolves getting 2 early wins, I have them moving out of the Alpha group with EDG and Dragon Ranger Gaming. Group Omega is a bit tricky. Fun plus Phoenix seems like a safe pick here. For the other 2 spots, I'm deciding between Trace, Titan Esports Club, and JD Gaming. I think Trace has gotten better since they added Liu King to the team, so I'll pick them to move on. Tech also picked up another player called AC. From his VLR history, he seems like an okay controller player in the region, and he also played a little bit of Duelist. However, I still think this team is like RB and friends. They did beat JD Gaming twice in 2 close series. However, I believe that JD Gaming's roster change will impact them more in a positive sense, so I have them moving out of Group Omega. For America's Alpha Group, I'm gonna go with Sentinels and NRG moving into playoffs. I know, big shocker, easy pick. However, for the rest, you can make a solid case for G2, Crew, and maybe Cloud9 too. I mean, the last time C9 made early season roster moves, their team started the following games red hot. I know a lot of people say Crew is just Kesnet and company, but I think overall this is a pretty good team. They brought in heat since MTA injured his hand. Klaus will return as being the IGL too. I really believe that third spot in this group is between Crew and G2. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to map or round differentials. I know G2 has blown away huge leads, but I think they can beat those choking allegations as well as realistically claim more rounds and map wins than Crew when it comes to facing Omega group teams. I have them moving on. For the other group, I think it's safe to say that Loud and maybe Leviathan will qualify from here. The third spot would be between 100 Thieves and Evil Geniuses in my opinion. I would keep an eye out for MRBR too. I could see them sneaking in a few upsets here and there. They have a good history of doing that. And again, let me be honest with you guys here. I'm gonna be biased. I like an underdog story, and Evil Geniuses have the potential to make another great one. Plus, you can tell that Jagamo's out here going for style points, and he just wants to have fun in the process too. As a fan of the game, I want to see more of that, so I have Evil Geniuses moving on. Now for my hot take for VCT China, I predict that EDG will lose twice to 2 different teams during split 1. This is a hot take in my opinion because the last time EDG lost to 2 different teams in the Chinese Valorant event was December 2022. I'm not saying this will happen because EDG got worse. If anything, you could say that EDG either stayed the same or improved a little bit, despite their record not showing so. Nonetheless, I believe this will happen because the level of play in China has just gotten better. They almost lost to Wolves in a 3-map series, and in the grand finals, they had some close games against FPX. When it comes to just raw aim, the gap isn't that large. Now for Americas, I predict that Curry will play on stage for Sentinels at one point in time. Maybe split 1 or 2, but I think it will happen. Again, this is not because I think Sentinels will fall off or anything. There's just this funny pattern that's kind of starting where a Sentinels substitute gets promoted to their active roster. Happened with Marv, then Celsius, and now it's Curry's chance to continue it. I remember watching a clip of Celsius saying that he had problems with his passport and he was able to fix it. And keep in mind that this was around the same time that Curry got announced as Sentinel's 6th man. Coincidence? I think not. However, their IGL is currently stuck because of visa issues. I'm sure he'll get it resolved, but it feels like the universe is trying everything in its power to get Curry on an official T1 stage this year. I'm totally for it. Gotta keep the tradition alive, even if it's for a temporary activation. Lastly, I predict that Clove will have less than a 15% pick rate for both regions. I think someone from each league will play this new agent, but the rate won't be that high. My best guess is Icebox, and maybe Evil Geniuses might be the first team to do it. I mean, they did get Deadlock to a 50% win rate. I would definitely prefer them to use Clove rather than Deadlock, just like how I would rather see Jagamo on a Duelist agent. But that's just my take as a fan. In one of my previous videos, someone reminded me that Loud did run triple controller on Bind during Champs 2023. That was a bit more possible since Sky didn't get nerfed yet. I would imagine that comp would be a bit harder to pull off now. But Loud still did pretty decent with it though. So these are my predictions. Let me know down below, as usual, how wrong I am and what you would change. Till next time, stay safe and I'll be yapping in the next one.